Hello everyone, SirMonkeySuit or Zappy here, back again with My Hero Academia. We are on Season 5, it's finally here, the new season, and it couldn't have come at a better time, to be honest, because we've literally just watched the end of Attack on Titan, or at least the first half of the last season, and now My Hero's here. So in terms of a schedule, I couldn't have hoped for anything better than that. Because those who do know me, Attack on Titan and My Hero are up there as the shows that I love to react to the most. So, I just love these shows to bits. And we are on Season 5 now. So, damn, that's crazy. I mean, when I first started reacting to the show, Season 3 hadn't even started yet. You know what I mean? So, we've gone through, day by day, reacting to Season 3, Season 4, and now Season 5. All of which are going to be, I know the last two were 25 episodes each, but this one I assume is going to be the exact same, 25 episodes. And a lot of people have been saying that this one should be getting a bit political, at least the political space of heroes in society and everything, and going more, delving a bit more deeper into that kind of thing, which is scary, you know what I mean? Because shit like that really fucking gets me amped up and pissed off, you know what I mean? We've had a lot of debates in the comments about, should kids go out of their way to help someone? But for the moral good of something, what happened with Ida, for example, in Stain, okay, Ida went out of his way to get vengeance for his brother. Okay, right, I get that is bad, but for what Todoroki and Deku did, coming in to save someone, I always felt that for them to be punished for that goes entirely against the idea of a hero for me. A hero is someone who saves those who are in need. It's not about laws and everything like that. And I get the idea that you've always got to put an asterisk next to everything, you know what I mean. But I mean, let's be honest, you know what I mean. It's there is this whole thing with being a vigilante and how do you know when to cross that line or anything? But people have said that Season 5, in terms of I guess where the story continues on in the manga from when Season 4 was, that this is the season which will be getting a lot of that stuff, So we'll see what happens. But it's going to be interesting to get in regardless. I'm sure it will spark a lot of debate and everything like that. Now the last thing I watched that was My Hero was the second movie, Heroes Rising, which was absolutely incredible, by the way, especially for me. You know who my favourite character is, and you know who got him fucking... he basically had the spotlight in that movie, which I absolutely loved. So I adored that movie. It was incredible. People said that, in the comments, that there was a thing that that was the original end for the story, that would be something that actually happened in the canon story. But that was sort of changed and everything like that. So that movie itself was kind of a what if kind of, I suppose. But it was great to have that moment anyway. So hats off to Bones for creating such. You know what I mean? There's such an amazing studio. That the art that goes into the animation and everything for this show is absolutely incredible. So absolutely amazing. But yeah, before that it was obviously Season 4, and we ended off with Endeavor basically on this sort of mission of kind of redemption in terms of at least the viewer anyway, and also his family. So that's really cool to see. And of course the last episode for Season 4 was incredible. Seeing Endeavor actually go plus ultra, even though he hates it, is so cool. And there was little bits where it was oh fucking hell, I can't believe that this Nomu is, actually, Endeavor was having some trouble with it, even with the assistance of Hawks, but that final, prominence burn into the sky, the visual of that tied with the voice acting and the music and everything, that's something that this show always does so well, is tying all of that together to create these unbelievable, breathtaking moments that I just really love. So yeah, Endeavor basically supplants himself as number one in that moment to the world. I know that he was officially the number one beforehand, and through the means of how he got that, because he got it basically as a hand-me-down from All Might just not being able to work anymore because his power had gone, and obviously Endeavor didn't like that. But that moment there to the world it does supplant him as that like sort of number one figure of something that even Endeavor can be proud of, that he, you know, he showed everyone, you know what I mean, which is absolutely incredible. I just love that, you know, he had this quote about, you know, I'm not here to say fancy like little one-liners or quotes or anything like that, just watch what I do. It's like actions speak louder than words, and at the end of the day, like, the thing is that because the thing that's so good about it is that he's completely different to All Might. All Might would give those like sort of quotable one-liners. He was that sort of kind of hero where he was that kind of pillar that was almost the stereotypical hero, you know what I mean? But even though he said those things, he also backed it up with the actions that he did. Endeavor doesn't have that quality to be the most, you know, like people's favorite. So, you know, he has this sort of bad guy kind of attitude about him. So the role that he plays is basically just to to defeat the bad guy or save someone, and do it that way. Okay, it's all about actions with Endeavor, you know, and I feel like that'll obviously, you know, portray everything with his redemption, and how that, you know, goes ahead. But it was just a beautiful way to end last season, especially with like Todoroki watching it and at the end being so relieved, you know what I mean, because that's like something that Todoroki's never had with his dad before. He's never had this feeling of anything like that towards his father. So to see that is, you know, incredibly emotional and everything, and I just really loved last episode, you know, for Endeavor as a whole. So yeah, I mean, other than that, we'll get into the reaction. Don't worry, I'm just trying to get everything, you know, processed before I go into you know, the rest, like, you know, starting off the season. So the other thing that was huge was at the end of last episode was Deku. I think he was dreaming, right? And he went into that space where all of the previous One for All holders were. And we saw, like, you know, a different array of like colours of previous holders down the line. There was like a purple one, red one. There was a yellow one, which, I mean, you might want to think that it might have been, you know, All Might, but I don't think it is. All Might doesn't seem to be there, which is interesting. But I think that might just be because he's still kind of around, you know, like, it's more like kind of like almost like a purgatory state. But then I would almost think that wouldn't make sense either, because he is a previous holder of One for All, so he should be there in some kind of spirit form. I don't know, you know, but yeah. So there was that, and the brother. I mean, I wrote down the brother spoke to Deku because of how long it was since I watched episode 25. I can't remember. I'm guessing what that means is the brother of All for One. So the one that started off One for All spoke to Deku, I believe. I should have really watched the fucking last episode. It would have been easier, wouldn't it? But regardless, yeah, so that is a big deal, because this is the first time since Deku has had any interaction with the previous One for All holders since, I mean, season 2. He had it when he was against Purplehead guy, who was in the General Studies class, right? And he had it then, but it was just an instant of just like, oh shit, you know. But yeah, he was actually interacting. So it is interesting. I wonder if that is something more going on in season 5. I imagine it is, because it was just planted right there at the end of season 4. But we will see what happens. So yeah, I don't think there's anything else to really talk about. I can't remember if this episode itself is the one that is the recap. Now I know they've done, you know, recaps. You know, specifically the one that comes to mind is the one in season 3. Which is a one where they just go swimming and they, you know, they recap what has happened. But there is, like, I guess, like, new little scenes, but there's nothing so big that it you know, it's anything sort of, you know, mind breaking or anything for the story. And last season was the guy who was like a photographer and everything like that, which was a bit more nuanced. It wasn't as much of like of a recap as what the season 3 intro was. So I don't know what this one's going to be like. I guess we just go in and find out. So yeah, nothing else to really talk about. So I'm going to do the reactions the same way that I did with Attack on Titan. So there, it is going to be slightly transparent here on YouTube, because, you know, season 4, a lot of the videos got taken down. So, you know, I'm going to make it transparent, see if I can keep them here on YouTube. But if for whatever reason it gets taken down for copyright in the future, I will re-upload this as a discussion-only video, and the reaction to, or the link to the reaction will be in the description below. And as always, the link to the full length to this reaction is in the description below as well. So if you want to watch my reaction to this episode in full and not just the cut 10-minute version, then the offer is there for you. But yes, nothing else really to talk about, so we're going to get into episode 1 of season 5 and see what we get. So without further ado, let's go. Back to class 1A.
Endeavor was amazing yesterday, don't you think? Yeah.
Yeah, no shit, dude. That was scary, man. Fucking hell. It looked like you'd literally got pierced through the eye.
Any stronger heroes around?
Thankful for the pain.
I'm just propelling myself forward. Because she is my quirk.
Dude, Hawks is really cool as well.
This is it! You are me. From the past.
For
another future.
It's so good. That scream is so nice.
I'll go plus ultra! Providence!
Woo! I love that. I love
It was so manly!
it. Of course.
The #1 hero now.
Hey, Todoroki. Is Endeavor doing okay?
Yeah. Sounds like his condition isn't serious.
But you could be pretty proud of your pops, huh?
Yes, that's true.
Alright, to start, it's a start. Of
Even
course.
though you only have provisional licenses, you've been given the certification to act as heroes in an official capacity. 2 of you remain in supplemental
Right,
courses.
okay. Yeah, Todoroki and Bakugo. Damn
From
it!
this moment on, we'll be kicking your training up a notch.
Emergency drill! Emergency drill! Hypothetical villains have infiltrated.
Hypothetical.
the
Okay. No, there's basically no time to prepare.
Hero costumes and report as soon as possible.
Interesting. None of them panicked or anything.
This world is a superhuman society.
I mean, it's
with
1A,
about
so.
80 heroes fight against villains who abuse their
Wow.
powers for
They've
evil.
officially changed
No
it.
surprise, the heroes became our champions.
They've changed it to Endeavor now for that.
My friends and I are working hard toward a shared goal, facing every challenge
Of course,
that comes
Bakugo
our
has
way.
to be first. Ah, I'm so excited to have My Hero
We're
back.
training to become the world's greatest heroes.
Oh, damn, Bakugo. What's this about? What's the color? Oh, shit. Oh, we're gonna see him? Oh, dude, that's cool. Shinso, right? I think that's his name. This is gonna be cool. All hands on deck.
We will carry out this mission as though lives are on the line.
We need to understand the situation better. Reconnaissance squad, if you will. We're on.
I like how they got their own individual squads. The advantages of their quirk.
Koji Koda. Hero name Anima.
Hero.
Kyokujiro. Hero name Earphone Jack.
Northeast, 900 meters out.
Meizo Shoji.
I wonder who the villains
Hero
are gonna be
name
then.
Tentacle.
A building's collapsed near the river.
Our foremost priority is to put out that fire.
I can help with that.
Where's Bakugo coming from? The roof?
Momo Yaoyorozu. Hero name Creati. Quirk Creation.
We
Oh
need
my-
an extinguishing squad to race to the scene.
What?
Ingenium?
Shoto,
A fire engine squad.
Someone got swept away by the river.
a victim?
Alright, Proppy.
Tenya
Very
Ina.
nice.
Hero name Ingenium.
Bakugo, you're going the wrong way.
It's always these three.
What's happening?
We're looking for villains.
It's the best squad.
Rescuing to the extras.
Shoto Todoroki. Hero name Shoto. Quirk, half cold, half hot.
Excellent job.
Over there.
Alright, oh wow. It's fucking.
Gee, how'd I end up in here? Talk about rotten luck. I don't die.
Dark Shadow.
Here we go.
Fumikage Tokoyami. Hero name Tsukuyomi. Rikido Sato. Hero name Sugarman.
I don't think we've ever heard him be called Sugar Man before, have we? I could be wrong, but.
Minoru Mineta. Hero name Grape Juice.
Nice.
Tsuyu Asui. Hero name Froppy.
I don't understand. My eyes should have stopped the blaze. Another explosion?
I think it's a villain.
Smoke looks denser than it was.
And we've got to move for
I'm trying to wrap my brain around who that could be.
Yeah? Ochako Uraraka. Hero name, Uravity.
I love this OST. It's so good. It's one of my favorites.
Hero name, Cellophane.
Team Rainy Day.
Bom, 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 bom.
Mina Ashido. Hero name, Pinky.
I still wish it was Alien Queen, but you know, we'll deal with it.
Yuga Aoyama. Hero name,
Can't stop twinkling.
This time I'll make sure to snuff it out.
Damn. I thought there might have been a villain in there, but Bakugo Squad still needs to get in there.
Sound, I think.
It's the other third years.
Can't be.
Do you guys remember me? I'm a villain today.
Yeah, of course.
Did you know that?
Not just her. I'm also a bad guy.
Sun Eater, of course.
I'm going home.
What a great villainous activity that is. Going home. Or maybe it's a ploy.
Wait a minute. Can't bounce. You have a big part to play. And don't any of you move either. It'd be bad. I told you not to move.
You just got a hostage
Kids
and
like you must be punished. Full charge. Output level 30.
output level. We haven't heard us say that before, have we? Ooh. Yeah. Shit, he's back in there.
Away again, huh?
For fuck's sake, Mario.
We'll prioritize saving human lives. Leave Haro to Midoriya and the others. The rescue squad needs our assistance.
I agree.
As Bakugo Squad.
You've still got Pinky.
It's easy to think there's only just the big three, but there could be more there.
He asked me to do what I could to help you become proper heroes as soon as possible. He's counting on me to push you. So I'll stand and fight.
Storyline.
This is not gonna be easy.
This is a new music.
Where's that invisible girl?
Wow, yeah, he's thinking about that. Nice! That was really cool. Oh, man!
Gakure. Hero name, Invisible Girl.
That was really cool that they set that up. Fucking hell! Sun Eater's quite good against multiple opponents, like, but...
Mashirao Ojiro. Hero name, Tailman. Deku. Izuku Midoriya. Hero name, Deku. Quirk, one for all.
Oh, shit! Well,
Stand down and
yeah,
surrender.
he would have got...
Not following through to the end can be fatal.
Oh! He is the
I'm your
villain.
enemy.
Yeah, teach him a proper lesson.
I will defeat you!
Oh, here they come! Oh my god, the boys!
Is that Red Riot?
They have not got a car.
Hiroshima. Hero name, Red Riot.
How
Here he
have,
comes.
how have they...
Bang.
Oh,
Can you
wow.
push the battery any harder? Punch it!
Of course. That's
Denki
great.
Kaminari. Hero name, Charge Bolt.
And the last person, the best one.
Katsuki Bakugo.
Here's my boy!
Undecided. Quirk, Explosion.
Prepare to be murdered!
Oh god. Bakugo doesn't back down.
Yeah, way to do it, man.
Incredible. What an entrance.
The drill is over. The drill is over.
Fight me! Huh? You went easy on me earlier, didn't you? No, I was terrified of your fate. Don't you underestimate me! Villains have to be taught a lesson! You're done for! Loser!
Fuck's sake.
Die!
Fucking hell. Look at that smoke cloud.
Escort Bakugo to the faculty lounge.
In the hero course
Ooh.
at UA High.
That's like a
We
head.
take our training very
Look at the
seriously.
fucking haircuts. Dude, this is like a fucking pure heavy Bakugo OST. Endeavor. What if from now on he has an eye patch as part of his costume? Hawks kept him up.
That's the victory pose All Might used.
Yeah, it was similar, wasn't it?
Mine's different. He used his left arm.
Yeah, I
pull
didn't
up the
realize
other.
that. Isn't this precious?
Darby.
I wasn't sure what to expect from that fight.
Fuck.
Let me introduce myself. This is our first meeting.
Is it though? Is it though? It's gonna end before we find out.
Hey. You're late for our meeting.
Hawks? What the fuck?
Preview. The
No
number 1 hero
way.
barely scraped by.
Okay, episode 1 for season 5. Now, it was, I guess, technically a recap, but it did actually keep the story kind of going, especially continuing on from what happened at the end of last season with Endeavor, of course, in the after credit scene. But fuck, I don't even know if I want to. I mean, I guess we should continue on with it because that's obviously the big thing. That I mean, Hawks was there talking with Dabby, so I have to assume that that was before like this like the whole thing went down, because I remember specifically in the the end, the last 2 episodes of season 4, that Dabby was the one that let out the Nomu. And I remember talking like in the discussion for like episode 24 or something, that like I found it interesting that Dabby was the one letting it go, and I was wondering if that was under orders from Shigaraki or if he was doing it of his own accord, because there's always been this thing of whether or not Dabby is actually a Todoroki or not, and I thought it was interesting that this was a fight set up by, if he is a Todoroki, then Endeavor's son, and that's what the big meaning behind the whole thing is. But that Hawks is involved with it somehow is interesting, and I don't know which way to spin it, like, because there could be multiple things. Like, the way Dabby is going on, he's not a good guy. He just isn't. I mean, he's killed a hero before, so we know that he's not entirely... But maybe he has some ulterior motive alongside. And the quick way that I was, like, trying to think about it was that, I don't know, maybe Dabby was actually giving his father, Endeavor, if it is, again, that sort of platform to be the number one to everyone, you know what I mean? But then, this is the thing, is that if Dabby is truly on side of the villains and the League of Villains and everything like that, how does that assist him? Because the whole point of the League of Villains and everything is that they came around in the downfall of the pillar and everything like that. You know what I mean? Like, the symbolism and everything is gone, and you don't want someone else cropping up as another pillar. So I don't know why that would help them out. But that's the thing, is with Dabby, it's not like a case of, oh, he was an inside man all along and he was actually, you know what I mean? Because he killed that one dude. I can't remember. Like, I can't even remember who it was. There was one hero last season that he killed. It was when they were trying to get a hold of Overhaul, and there was this one hero that came. Was he like something to do with sand, I think, or something like that? But Hawks is involved with it. And the thing is with Hawks, the way that he goes on, he isn't a bad guy either. So there's something there that is like... There has to be a precedent for why those two worked together to sort of... They, almost like they created this scenario where Endeavor had to, unless Hawks knows some, because this is the thing. Hawks was the one that actually looked up to Endeavor, right? He was that's like one of Endeavor's like true fans, the one that actually inspired Hawks, who is now currently the number 2. And so I wonder how much Hawks actually knows. I mean, this is the thing, like, in this world, I don't know how many people are truly, like, looking into, like, what could possibly be. I mean, with Dabby, the knowing that he uses fire should kind of possibly ring a bell to someone, but with Hawks being the one that actually looked up to Endeavor, I wonder how much Hawks actually knows about that family. like knows about the Todorokis and everything, and if he's thinking that, well, where's the other son? Where's the third son? Because, you know, I mean, well, we obviously know of Todoroki. We know the one with the white hair. I can't remember the name, and the sister. But where's the third one? Remember that there was a. I mean, if you look back at those like sort of flashback like moments where you see the main one is obviously episode 10 of season 2, where you see Shoto. You know what I mean? Like, Endeavor's forcing him to go down this route of being the best to overtake All Might and everything like that, and that you don't, you know what I mean? Like, he's not going to go play with his siblings. And there's 3 kids there, and one of them has purely, like, he has like the Endeavor color hair entirely, right? So where's that one? You know what I mean? And I wonder if Hawks knows this. And because he admires Endeavor so much that maybe he's the one that sought out Dabi due to this information. Because I can't see it being a case of Hawks being, you know what I mean? He helped to defeat the Noma. So it's not a case of, you know what I mean? He helped all of the civilians out of the building that was, you know. But then he would also, I guess if this was the scenario that, like, you know, hypothetically they put in place, then by proxy, Hawks is putting people in danger, which is not great, you know. That's one theory of what could be happening. Another one could be like, I don't know, one that's out there. Dabi is holding someone Hawks loves hostage. You know what I mean? I mean, that seems a bit out there. To some degree, I think Dabi, you know, what would make sense for a like Dabi, if he is a Todoroki, if he is that third sibling, that he rejected the whole thing that Endeavor was doing, like Shoto did, but he's gone like to the extreme, to the point where like he maybe joined the villains just to make a point to his father, possibly. You know, I mean, that does make sense for an overarching character story and everything like that, you know. That is probably the one that makes sense the most as to why Dabi is the way that he is, if he is that Todoroki. So, there is that Dabi sought out Hawks, and somehow Hawks is fine with the talk. I don't know, maybe Dabi is doing a thing where he's selling out the League of Villains to some degree to get it to, so that he can further his own thing with his father. That could be a thing. And Hawks has decided to take him up on that. And it could be a thing that we could be getting into this whole thing of Hawks, like, because he admires Endeavor so much, he's doing things that really as a hero he shouldn't be doing, you know. And again, that goes back to like this idea that, you know, if he's meeting villains in secret, it's tough. I mean, we don't know the ins and outs. We just saw him turn up, and it's like, oh, you're late, or something like that. There's something there, but the way Hawks acted, everything that he said previously about, you know, he looked up to Endeavor and everything like that, and wants to be a hero, rings true to me. Like, I don't think he's lying in any of that. But I do recall that, was it in episode 24 where we first got introduced to him? That, like, I remember saying specifically, like, he's got a different mentality to other heroes. The way that he goes around, like, you know what I mean? He's not kind of proactive, you know, like some hero, like, you know, I mean, the main one, All Might, is very proactive in his hero work. Hawks is very much not that, you know, but he does have this sort of cool, collected sort of, you know, aura about him, and so he goes about things differently, which could be, I mean, this is a thing, like, I guess not everything has to happen by the book, you know, and he's probably one of those heroes that is more like that. That he could probably fit more into an anti-hero mold as well as a hero mode. You know what I mean? That he doesn't go about things by the book, but maybe does some in and out backstreet work that is not entirely, you know, hero centric to, like, you know, to get to the end. So, you know, the end justifies the means and everything like that. And if that is the case, and they set up this stage for Endeavor to fight against this Nomu, yes, he was basically advocating for people to be put into a dangerous situation. I mean, there's no telling what can happen. Yeah, he saved the people in the building, but what about the building's debris falling off and hitting someone and killing them? You know what I mean? Like, I mean, he even said when he was in the building that he can't save everyone, but then it kind of just drifted to the idea that he actually did. So I don't know. It's an interesting sort of... It's an interesting thing with Hawks, I feel like, which I'm very intrigued to see going forward, and also what happened after Dabby came out and revealed himself to Hawks and Endeavor immediately after that Nomu fight. The interesting thing is what, you know, Todoroki... I'm already called him Todoroki. I can't call him that because then people will think I'm talking about Shoto. I'm talking about Dabby. He says that this was the first time we met, but if he is a Todoroki, that wouldn't be true unless Dabby somehow has this like mental thing that like he's kind of broken, so I don't know, maybe he doesn't remember he's a Todoroki or something. Because the one time that we have seen him with the other siblings, he was very young. Like, he seemed like he was very young, like almost like, you know, not too far off Todoroki's age. So I'm wondering how much he actually does know. You know what I mean? Like, because there could be a similar thing that's like, you know, with Shigaraki, he was taken at such a young age and then he was developed into this villain by All For One, without knowing the previous, like, you know, his previous, like, what actually his story was, like who his parents were and everything. So there could be something similar there, but we've never been, like, there's never been like a hint of anything other than, well, the fact that he has blue fire, which is strictly blue fire. It's not orange. So, you know what I mean? It's not like the dirty flame that, you know, that is normally what Endeavor and Shoto use. Endeavor can go to that blue flame, but it's like to the nth degree. Like, he needs to go, like, kind of, you know, to force it into that. Whereas Dabby's is like blue flame all the time. And whether or not that's just something that happens when he ignites it, or he purposefully uses blue flame, I don't know. But there's never been a hint of anything other than that blue flame. And the one time where it's like, it was when Bakugo got taken, and, you know, you had Dabby and Shoto like together. Like, I think that was like the only frame like where you like saw them together, and there was something that Dabby said like feels like more personal than just, you know, a villain versus a hero kind of thing. So there was that, but that's a very like out of left field hint. It's not like obvious. So, you know, like, and there's never been anything said about like, well, where's brother gone? You know, like there's never been anything like that. Nothing's ever been said about that. I mean, Todoroki remembers all of this stuff because he talks about it, like to Deku, and when he's having the fight with Deku, he remembers it. So he does remember there's a third brother there. And whether or not it's just the case of like all of the Todoroki family know about it, and maybe they talk about it to some degree, but it's something that, for the sake of a surprise later on, that the viewers just aren't getting, you know, we're not getting that information from them. So, you know, it could be just something like that. But yeah, we didn't get anything more than Dabby coming up and saying this is the first time we met. It's not the case. I mean, the only time that would be the case, because that's the thing, it's like, I'm thinking he's talking to Endeavor there and not Hawks, because my whole theory lies on the idea that Hawks and Dabby met before that whole event. But then I don't know, could it be the opposite? Could it be this is the first time we met, talking to Hawks, and then afterwards they're doing something? I don't know. It is interesting. But I remember last episode, like wanting to know what this whole new Nomu was and why it could talk and everything, and why that was such a because Nomu's, like, we know what a Nomu is. It's something that has been given multiple quirks to the point where they can't handle it. They become this sort of monstrosity and you know, unable to talk and everything, and they just follow orders. But this one could talk and everything and had a personality. So yeah, it's interesting. I need more information on those before I, you know, jump into more possible theories. But that's, yeah, I can only guess, right? I can only guess. You know, a little bit just before Darby turned up as well, I love the fact that Hawks pointed out that's the All Might pose, and then Todoroki and Dev are basically saying that it's not. I was holding up the other arm. I love that even in that like moment of like where he's obviously like hurt and he's given everything, he's tired, that's like, because of that sort of just will to that's always been there. It's always been versus like All Might, that he still has that wherewithal to know that he might want to do the pose as a way to still spite All Might, but he doesn't want to be All Might either, so he puts up the other arm. I love that. I love the fact that, you know, that's something that he does. You know, it's these little details that are like little bits of, you know, that just flesh out the character and make you believe them. So I really like that. So yeah, so aside from the episode being somewhat of a recap, this is more akin to, I feel like, what the recap or the first episode for season 4 was. Season 3 was a bit more so, but you know, I mean, I guess for, you know, in this episode there was that whole thing of being introduced to all of the, you know, Class 1A. I mean, all of us that have watched it know what each of their quirks are and everything like that. The only thing that actually came up that I don't think I've ever heard before is that the one dude's called Sugar Man. Like, that's his hero name. And I don't think we've ever heard that before. I know that we've heard Sugar Rush as that's his quirk, but I don't think we've ever heard his hero name be referred to as Sugar Man before. I'm honestly, I really don't think we have. And whether or not that's just a, you know, an English dub thing, like maybe in previous episodes in the Japanese that maybe that was said, but in the English dub I can't remember him ever being called that. So that's the only thing that really cropped up that was anything different. But I mean, we've watched the show, we know what each, you know, character is, and, you know, for their quirks. But this serves as a way to get back into, you know, the show again, and for people that maybe just aren't as familiar as, or avid watchers as us. So, you know, there was obviously that. But I like the fact that they did it in a case of like, you know, like, it wasn't just going through the different people. It actually was following the sort of plot for the episode, which was this whole hypothetical villains have turned up. It turned out to be the big three that were, well, 2 of them were the villains. Mirio was just floating around in the river, and everything like that. So I like that Mirio's still getting involved, because, of course, obviously in the last season he lost his quirk, so you know, that was such a huge deal. You know, and everything. But it's nice that he's getting, you know, he's still getting involved. But yeah, in terms of like the sort of roll call for all of the Class 1A, I like the fact that they put it into the plot of the, you know, taking care of these villains and you know, rescuing people, of course. And making it like, again, it could have easily just been a case of, oh, they have to take out the villains, but they purposefully had it so that Mirio was the one who, you know, that was the one that needed rescuing. It is a bit sad when you the reason for that is obvious, but like, yeah, like, you know, having obviously both sides and having each squad have a different, you know, they've already squadded up like this before in previous like episodes and everything like that, and you know, they have their roles to play. You know, having the reconnaissance squad that uses their abilities that are more advantageous to that job, you know, and you know, you have the more rescue centric hero abilities, and then of course you have Bakugo squad, which is just made to take out heroes with just like full power. So yeah, I mean, when they showed up in that car, for fuck's sake, I can't believe they came up in a car, and it must have been an electric one, or at least it was just running on, you know, some kind of battery that Kaminari was, you know, given off to, you know, to the car to actually propel it forward. But I guess the one thing that actually is apparent between the way that Deku does things and the way that Bakugo, and not only Bakugo, Kirishima as well, is that they did not back down at all, even though it's just a third year that's acting like a villain. It's that thing of like, no, we're in this mode right now. Like I know that you know that I'm not a villain, but that isn't the case. You know what I mean? Like we're still like in this mode right now. This sort of roleplay, if you want to call it that. But it's somewhat similar to when Deku and Bakugo were facing off against All Might. All Might didn't, he didn't like. He gave like pretty much everything to that. You know what I mean? He didn't back down in any of his like punches or anything, and they got really like fucked up at times. So similar like sort of situation for this, but again it for an episode coming back into the new season, for people who aren't as avid watchers as us, it paints the idea of the characters, of who they are and why they do the things that they do. Deku, of course, if he was the one to back off in that moment, Bakugo is the one to not do that. He goes full force until the villain is subdued. So because that's the way these two characters have been set up throughout the entire show. Bakugo is a hell of a lot more relentless in his pursuit of villains and everything, and Deku's got more of this sort of this kind, caring side to him that But I mean, the one thing that that Deku has sort of, I guess, in droves, is this sort of, I guess, all-rounder hero that that All Might was. He has the power and everything to defeat villains, but also that kind, caring attitude to the victims in a certain situation and everything like that. And Bakugo can have that as well. It's just that his focus is more primarily on defeating the villains first and foremost, and as a sort of a secondary of defeating the villains and everything, in a way does rescue them. So you know what I mean. But it's that different sort of mentality in facing villains that I think Bakugo is just a hell of a lot more ruthless in his approach, which is really cool. But yeah, like I said, not only Bakugo but Kirishima, he was the first one in there to to get Amajiki from behind, which is a big thing as well, because they were teammates and they're provisional licenses. So not the provisional licenses, they're fucking, I can't even remember what you call it, like just their association, I guess, with what's his name. Fucking hell, there's so many characters in the show, man. I'll get it. Fat Gum, that's the one. Yeah, I didn't even need to look at it. It just come to us. Fat Gum, yeah. They were in that. They were in that association to get together as a team. So for him to come in, it's one thing for Bakugo to do because we expect him to do it anyway. But for Kirishima to not back down, even knowing them two are the closest out of the the group of 1A and the big three. You know what I mean? Those were like partnered together. So, and I mean, Kirishima saved his life pretty much. I mean, he saved his quirk from that one bullet. So, them two are close. So for Kirishima to go in as well, great, love that. I thought I needed to give Kirishima some credit because, I could have easily just gone overboard and Bakugo like I usually do. But I mean, come on, Kirishima's fucking up there as a best boy as well. So we've got to give him that credit. But yeah, I mean, that's just my favourite squad. I mean, why wouldn't it be? It's got my favourite character in there, and I just love them. Like, as a collective, they are just known as, I'm just going to call them the boys, because they're fucking, you know what I mean, they're just a cool squad, you know what I mean, them three, it's always them three, they've found that sort of dynamic between them and that group, that trio, which I really like, so yeah, that's cool. Other than that, at the very beginning, Todoroki actually acknowledging that he was actually proud of his dad, which is good, because that's progress right there, for going ahead with Endeavor's redemption. Endeavor taking the hero spot of All Might. So a lot of the time, like especially even in season 2, this was like at the beginning, like almost like an intro to every episode. Not the opening with the song and everything, but the intro where it's like where it's like. What was it, like 90% of the world have got a quirk and everything like that, and then it brings up like the hero, number one hero. It was usually All Might, and that has officially been changed to Endeavor now, which is big. it's like that's acknowledgement of like at this point in time, this current time, All Might's just not the number one anymore, you know. So it's like a bittersweet thing, but it makes sense, and I do like it. So yeah, really cool. I mean, when the hypothetical villain alarm went off, I was surprised that no one actually reacted in a way that they were shocked of what the hell was going on. Almost like that this is something that they had done before, but we just never seen it. But then there's also another thing of like, maybe it is the first time, but because 1A have been involved in so much, like, it's almost like they've developed to a point where nothing surprises them anymore. So like they just like switch into another, like into game mode, you know what I mean? So it could be either or of those. Like it could be a thing of we've just never seen a villain alarm, like a hypothetical villain alarm go off, and you know they're just used to it at this point. But it could also mean of just like, you know, they've been through so much that at this point nothing shocks them. So you know, that's that. Hado having that output level thing, which I don't think we've seen before. I mean, we've seen her use her power before, but we've never heard her like shout out exactly what it is she's doing. And she said like, you know, like what was it, like full charge or something, and then output level 30 or something. But we've never seen that as almost like a sort of tally for how strong her attacks can be. You know, but yeah, that went into like the idea of actually preemptively setting up a trap for what could possibly happen in the future, of sending Ashido up there and Hagakure as well as like someone, you know. But that's the thing that was great about it is they preemptively set up that as a way to get out if they were trapped, but also the fact that that Hado and Amajiki also thought, where is she? Like they never forgot about her, you know what I mean, which shows you how turned on they really are in those kind of situations, that they think about everything. So yeah, really cool. There is the reason why they're the big three. The Bakugo squad currents was great, and also Bakugo there at the end. I recognize that track anyway because it's Bakugo's theme song, but it's a fucking more guttural, heavy kind of like guitar used in there, which I really like. It's like, oh god, how do we make Bakugo more badass? It's crazy. It's really, really crazy. But yeah, I mean, and that's the thing as well, is like we've always had this thing of like there's been two people that prop up the, you know, class 1A, which is, you know, almost like the two pillars of that class is Deku and Bakugo, right? And Bakugo kind of took you know the spotlight there as the one that, you know, not only didn't back down but also like still wanting to, like he still has this thing about him that's like, you know, because Amajiki backed down, like he had this like sort of like facial expression of, oh shit, like I wasn't expecting this much ferocity. That like Bakugo thought of it as like he didn't give his all, so therefore Bakugo was like, you've got to come at me full force, you know what I mean? Because that's the thing with Bakugo, is he never stops wanting to be better and better and better, and because of that he needs people to go at him with their best shot, you know what I mean? The amount of time Bakugo has, he hates it about, you know, I mean, he said it time and time again, especially at Deku, that he hates it when people look down on him or don't, you know what I mean? It's like Bakugo sees it as that he thinks that other people think that he is weak because they don't go after him. Deku does it because he doesn't want, like, you know, he feels like, you know, he doesn't want to, like, you know, hurt people and everything like that. That's why he backs down from Amajiki and everything. You know, Shoto did it when he had that, you know, in the school sports festival against Bakugo, where everything that Deku said, Shoto didn't know how to think about it, and because of that he lost the will to fight in that moment, and Bakugo ends up winning, makes him look like an idiot. And then it's a similar situation here, where it's like he sees somebody sort of like tremble before him, you know what I mean, because he's coming at him with such force. That Amajiki, you know, Bakugo thinks that Amajiki's just basically backed down from that fight there, and Bakugo doesn't feel like he's gotten, you know, he had to work for any of it or anything like that. You know, so it's those little intricacies about like Bakugo that I really like, that because he is Bakugo is a lot. He's a lot to take in. He's fucking, full force coming at you. It's gonna fucking, at least put someone on the back foot a lot of the time. So yeah. Other than that, I think the opening song felt a bit kind of averagey. I didn't really, I didn't really take anything from that. It's that's all I can say about that. I don't think the song is anything really special at all. But that doesn't matter, you know what I mean? Doesn't really matter. I mean, a lot of the time, especially like when growing up and everything, the different opening would signify like, and give you sort of like nostalgia or a certain feeling about the arc that was going on at that time. So if the story beats in this season are so good that you start associating them with the opening, then that's sometimes what can make an opening song good and everything. But in terms of just like a song of its own, I don't think I think it could probably be, it feels like it could be the worst of the bunch. But then it's the first time I've heard it, so there's a lot of the time where it's like you become so used to older songs, like older openings, that when a new one comes along you're like, oh fuck's sake, and then you get used to it and you're like, it's actually quite good. You know what I mean? But yeah, I feel like previous openings have had like certain sort of something about them that felt like there was something there that was interesting, intriguing. I don't really say that in the opening song for this, but the opening visuals is interesting because Shinso is there, which is interesting, very interesting. I'm glad that he is going to get some time, because he had an interesting, I mean, he didn't have a big character arc in the show in season 2 in the sports festival, but it was the one time that we could see him, because it made sense for the sake of the story to have other members of UA that weren't just in 1A and 1B, but have that one guy that has the power and the potential to be in that space, but because of that power, that he had just an interesting little mini arc that hit so hard with him that everyone thinks because of his power that he would be a villain, or that he would use it for horrible things as opposed to actually being a hero, which puts him down, when in reality he wants to be a hero as much as Deku does. So that I'm glad that he's actually getting that. And I wonder if, because in the opening you see like Deku and Shinso going at it again, whether or not like it's more like, I don't know, because remember Shinso said something that was that was interesting back in season 2, where he said that there's always sort of room for those who are below to get into the hero course and surpass them and take someone's spot. And I wonder if that's like kind of like an event where he's trying to do that. You know what I mean? Because I wouldn't put it past him. He wants to be a hero, and at the end of the day I can't, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna try and stop him. I'll tell him that he can't do it, because you know what I mean? I feel like in a short space of time in season 2 he didn't get much, but it was powerful. It was a powerful sort of backstory with him, and yeah, I mean I can't wait for that. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've got. So yeah, I mean I talked a lot about that for it just being an episode where it was a recap, and we didn't get much in terms of like anything new or groundbreaking, but I don't know, I just like talking about this show. So yeah, that was episode 1 for season 5. Very good. I can't wait to get into more, but of course we're just gonna have to wait week to week. And I hope you enjoyed it as well. So thank you everyone for watching. In the description below I've linked to certain things. One of them is the Discord, so you can get yourself over there if you wish. And I also have a Patreon page as well, so if you don't support me on Patreon, that'd be very much appreciated. There is a bunch of different tiers and rewards there, like early access. It gives you access to shows a week early. There's also the full length tier, so if you want to watch any of my reactions in full, like this episode, and not just the cut down 10-minute versions, then that is there for you as well. And also the exclusive tier as well, which is for full length movie reactions, which tomorrow I'm going to be doing the second movie for Fate, Stay Night, Heaven's Feel, right? So yeah, if you're excited for that, then that'll be out tomorrow. But yeah, nothing else to really talk about there. So that's all I've got. Thank you everyone for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.